Hello and welcome, future peer recovery specialists. I'm Coach Jay Lewis, and if you're gearing up for the IC and RC Peer Recovery Specialist exam, you've come to the right place. In this video, we're going to break down everything you need to know to walk into that exam feeling prepared and confident. Let's get right into it. First, let's cover the fundamentals of the exam itself. The IC and RC exam is a computer-based, multiple-choice test. You'll be presented with a total of 125 questions. Now here's a key detail. Only 100 of those questions are actually scored. The other 25 are unscored pilot questions that help the IC and RC develop future exams. The tricky part? You won't know which questions are scored and which are not. This means you have to treat every single question as if it counts, giving each one your absolute best effort. You'll have a total of 2 hours or 120 minutes to complete the exam. If you do the math, that averages out to just under 1 minute per question. This timing is crucial, and we'll talk more about how to manage it effectively a little later on. So, remember, 125 questions, 100 scored, 2 hours. Give it your all from start to finish. Now, let's dive into the heart of the exam, the content. What exactly will you be tested on? The exam is divided into 4 main sections, which are called domains. Each domain carries a different weight, meaning some topics will appear more frequently than others. Understanding these domains is the key to structuring your study plan. The first domain is advocacy. This section makes up about 15% of your exam. Advocacy is all about being a champion for your peers. It covers how you help them navigate complex systems. Think of things like housing, healthcare, employment, and the justice system. It's also about fighting stigma. This means you need to understand the power of language, promoting recovery-oriented terms and challenging the negative stereotypes that so often create barriers for people seeking help. In this domain, you're the guide, the voice, and the ally for your peer. Next up is Domain 2, ethical responsibility. Pay close attention here because this is the largest, the most heavily weighted part of the exam, accounting for roughly 30% of your total score. And there's a good reason for that. Ethics are the absolute foundation of our profession. You'll be tested on your knowledge of critical confidentiality laws, like HIPAA and 42 CFR Part 2. You'll also need a firm grasp on professional boundaries. Understanding your scope of practice, what you can and cannot do as a peer specialist, your duties related to mandatory reporting in crisis situations. And don't forget, self-care is also considered an ethical responsibility. You can't pour from an empty cup, and the exam recognizes that. Moving on to Domain 3, we have mentoring and education. This is another significant section, making up about 25% of the exam. This domain is all about the how of peer support. It focuses on your ability to serve as a positive role model and to use your own lived experience effectively through responsible self-disclosure. It also covers practical skills like teaching coping mechanisms, facilitating support groups, and using techniques like motivational interviewing to inspire change. Think of this domain as the art of sharing wisdom and empowering others through knowledge and connection. Finally, we have Domain 4, recovery and wellness support. This domain accounts for the remaining 30% of the exam. It's all about the practical application of supporting someone on their recovery journey. You all need to understand how to help peers build their recovery capital, the internal and external resources they can draw upon to sustain their recovery. This domain takes a holistic view of wellness, covering mental, physical, emotional, and spiritual health. You'll also be tested on key concepts like relapse prevention strategies, creating effective crisis plans, and understanding the principles of harm reduction. This is where you put everything together to support a peer's long-term well-being. So, to recap the 4 domains, advocacy is about being a champion. Ethical responsibility is your professional compass. Mentoring and education is about sharing skills and hope. And recovery and wellness support is about building a foundation for a flourishing life. Knowing how the exam is weighted helps you prioritize your study time effectively. Now that you know what's on the exam, let's talk about what to expect on test day itself. You'll go to a designated computer testing center. The environment is typically quiet and structured to ensure a fair testing experience for everyone. As we've covered, every question is multiple choice, usually with 3 or 4 possible answer options. Here's a critical insight. Many of the questions are scenario-based. This means the exam is less about reciting definitions from a textbook and more about applying your knowledge to real-world situations. For example, instead of asking, "What is HIPAA?" a question might present a scenario where a peer's family member asks for information, and you'll have to choose the most ethical course of action. It will often ask, "What should a peer recovery specialist do first?" or "What is the best response in this situation?" This format requires you to think critically. You have to put on your peer support hat and analyze the situation through that specific lens. You'll need to use strengths-based approaches, prioritize the peer's autonomy, and always think ethically. The scenarios are designed to test your judgment and your ability to apply the core values of peer support in practice. To help you navigate these questions, let's go over a few essential test-taking tips. First, manage your time wisely. With about a minute per question, you can't afford to get stuck. If a question is stumping you, it's okay to mark it for review and come back to it later. It's better to answer all the questions you're confident about first, rather than running out of time on a single difficult one. Second, use the process of elimination. This is a powerful strategy for multiple choice tests. In many questions, you can quickly identify one or two answer choices that are clearly incorrect. These are the distractors. By eliminating them, you significantly increase your chances of selecting the correct answer, often narrowing it down to a choice between the two best options. And most importantly, throughout the entire exam, always remember the core values of peer support. When you're looking at a scenario, ask yourself these questions. What is the most ethical choice here? Which option is most empowering for the peer? Which response puts the peer's needs and self-determination first? Letting these principles guide your thinking will often lead you to the correct answer. The exam isn't trying to trick you, it's confirming that you think like a peer specialist. So how do you put all this information into action? The key is smart and consistent preparation. The first thing you should do is download and thoroughly review the official IC and RC candidate guide. It outlines everything we've discussed today in detail. Then, dedicate focused study time to each of the 4 domains, paying extra attention to the ones with the heaviest weight, like ethics and recovery support. Use active study methods. Don't just engage with the material. Create flashcards for key terms and concepts. Take practice quizzes to test your knowledge and get used to the question format. And most importantly, work through as many practice scenarios as you can find. This will train your brain to think critically and apply your knowledge, just like you'll have to on the real exam. Finally, a word on self-care leading up to the test. Your brain works best when your body is cared for. In the days before your exam, make sure you get enough rest, stay hydrated, and eat nourishing food. Don't try to cram everything in at the last minute. Trust the preparation you've done. Walk into that testing center feeling rested, calm, and ready to show what you know. Here at EmpowerPath Academy, I always remind our students of something important. The exam is just the door. What matters most is the professional you become when you walk through it. This test is a milestone, a confirmation that you have the knowledge and skills to practice as a peer recovery specialist with skill, compassion, and unwavering integrity. So take a deep breath. Trust in your preparation and your passion for this work. You are ready for this. You've got this. Thank you so much for watching. This is EmpowerPath Academy, and we're here to prepare you, not just to pass the exam, but to step confidently into your future as a leader in recovery. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up, and be sure to subscribe to our channel for more tips and resources on your journey. We'll see you in the next video.